Welcome to This Could Be Something, the podcast about the quiet, beautiful in betweens of becoming. Today's episode is with someone whose work speaks to the kind of healing that isn't loud or dramatic, but deep, honest, and real. I'm joined by Inez Galvez, a New York based holistic health coach and Pilates instructor. In this conversation, we talk about burnout that hides behind high performance and what it means to slow down enough to hear your body speak back. This is for the ones who keep going, or the ones afraid of what might happen if they stop. This episode is a soft invitation to come home to yourself. Let's take a breath and get into it.
I actually saw your page and then I resonated with because now I'm doing executive coaching. You're doing health coaching.
Yeah.
And no one talks about how the support profession is really about helping others heal.
Mm.
And then I saw your post about one time this client had a very heavy energy. And then after that, felt so drained. And I feel that sometimes too. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have to reach out to her and have a talk about how it's like to be in a support profession.
Yes.
And then the podcast was, I've been thinking about this for maybe 6 months now. Everyone was saying, do a podcast, do a podcast. And then I was like, but there's just so much noise out there. How can I be unique?
Yeah.
How do I make sure that what I put out there is unique? It took a long time for me to reflect. And then I was like, what if I put a podcast on the lens of curiosity, of people's journeys, of people's becoming.
Yeah. The becoming.
And then, so it's more of like just have conversations with people and see what comes up.
Yeah. That's potent already.
Yeah, and so that's when I reached out to you and I was like, oh my gosh, she's a perfect guest. I know a lot of people will learn from her. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I feel so honored to be a part of this. I mean, I love it because, I didn't realize, I knew you did coaching, but I didn't realize it was executive coaching. I mean, I know you'll ask me questions, but a lot of this is also, I'm going to be asking you how you got in that at one point as well. And as you mentioned, yes, I do health coaching and you do executive coaching, but I think from what I'm learning and hearing, and also with my certifications or mentors, we learn how a lot of it is mentality and behavior. Because the thing is sometimes, and let me know if this is what you see too, I know it's not in terms of actual food or your body, but it's a lot of internal, it's your internal world. That's the healing part. So a lot of my sessions end up becoming healing sessions. I feel like it's the same thing sometimes, but I would love to know more about you and your experiences and also what made you choose this. So anywho, and hopefully the listeners will be like, oh, interesting, didn't even know.
You're right. It's always about the client's inner world.
Yeah.
And we all have goals. I always tell my clients, everyone wants a beautiful life. Everyone wants happiness. But it's always about our mindsets, our limiting beliefs that stops us from going and pushing for that place of happiness. And there's this quote by Mark Twain. I don't know if I'll say it properly. What stops people is not really what they believe to be true that is true, but what they believe to be true but is not. And a lot of our clients, they already have these fixed beliefs that are not really true. And then they don't realize that they've been operating from this belief for a long time.
Yeah.
And then the moment you shine a light on it, and then they start to question it, then they start opening up and becoming better people or going towards their goals.
Yeah. That's big.
So the more you work with clients in coaching, the more you shine a light on their blocks that they might not be able to see if you're not around.
Right. Yeah. And also, I think, too, being able to build that trust with them, or they build the trust with you, because sometimes it's very vulnerable and it's scary, right? Everything you're saying, like, I mean, that's a lot of what happens in my coaching. So, say if it's like a 3-month program, maybe the first month, their health goals we hit, right? Because they feel guided, they're just in it, accountability. But then there's always like this 10% that it's like they don't, if they let go of whatever that, or they heal or move through that remaining 10%, like a block, then they'll completely change their life. Like, it's not just about food in your body at that point, it's about your behavior. But sometimes they get scared that they have to step into like a different personality. Like, for example, and I would love to hear your perspective, but like in terms of food, right? Food is pretty potent because you could do everything you need to do for yourself, but what is your relationship to the people around you? And what is their relationship to food? And how do they view you with food? How do they view themselves with food? That triggers people, you know? So say they want to lose, I don't know, I'm just making this up, like 10 pounds. Okay, they did it. But, or maybe 8, it's like 8 pounds. But that remaining 10 or the remaining 2 pounds, it might just require more of saying, like creating a healthy boundary for themselves with like the next social events to say, no, I'm not going to bring bawon. Like, I'm not going to bring, you know what I mean? Like, not bring like, whatever Lola's going to pack you to bring home, you know what I mean? Or that you don't want that third plate, you know, it doesn't feel good in their body anymore, but sometimes that triggers people. So it's that shift of a behavior, and it's a shift of like taking care of your own self-respect and claiming it, you know? And so, but they would be like, I'm scared of how people will view me, you know, or like saying no is scary, you know? So it's social and it's behavior, it's difficult, but then it's also doable. Like I want people to want the best for themselves. It's self-respect. And even if people say no to like, I'm not going to have that, you know, unnecessary plate, people will also look at you with self-respect, you know? So it's like a shift of mindset. It's what you're just saying, like behavior of yourself, like change, like with that inner change. It could be scary. It could be vulnerable. Like, what will people say? You know? Anyways, I don't know if there's anything similar to you with some of clients in terms of workplace or career.
I resonate with vulnerability. It takes courage. You have to be vulnerable and face those things that you're scared of, parts of yourself that you don't even want to recognize. So coaching, true transformation happens when you take the courage to face some aspects of yourself that you don't even like.
Mm-hmm.
But it has to be guided. Otherwise, if you're just doing this alone, you might self-loathe.
Right.
Especially clients who struggle with confidence, with self-esteem.
Yeah.
Their inner voice is already so harsh.
Right.
And if you're working on this alone, everything you do around your health, you're gonna be like, this is me. Like, I really can't change it. So this becomes this blame game towards yourself. But if you're working with a coach, you'll be able to dissect where all of these are coming from, and then reframe into a more positive belief.
Yeah.
And all of my clients, I teach them self-compassion.
Love that.
Because for me, that was the most transformative thing that I've learned in the last 5 years of my life. I'm very harsh towards myself.
Same.
I have to do this. Why can't you do this? You know?
Yeah.
Why are you disciplined? And then when I discovered that I can change that voice, that I can speak nicer to myself. If I can be nice to a stranger, I can be nicer to myself.
Yeah. Yes. And sometimes that self-compassion, that voice is difficult. Like, I'm just only connecting it. Well, for me too, because I same for you, like had my own sort of life transitions and changes, but also seeing that pattern with many people, not just clients, but just people, and how the world operates, and the world is literally creating this like hamster wheel of perfectionism that you have to go hard, you have to be harsh, you have to be cutthroat. So connecting it to like the physiological responses in our body or the nervous system in our body, like if we are not allowing ourselves to have compassion, to relax and be like easeful, like to a point where you could relax like your stomach, you know, like physically, to even just like, it's okay to also have a brownie, you know, like allow it, because your nervous system, it goes into rest and digest. It'll break down and digest all of the food to the most optimal way that you're like burning it, you know what I mean? But it's so invisible. I think that that's the training too of what you're saying, like give yourself grace, be soft with yourself, because when you're able to give yourself love and compassion, your whole nervous system changes. And you're rewiring your neural pathways, you're rewiring your inner voice and your behavior. So it doesn't become this harsh, I need to do it like this, you know? It's like, that doesn't feel right. I'm not gonna do that right now, but we'll go here. But you did it. You know, it's like you're not at war with yourself. So I love everything you just said. I'm absolutely with you. And the body reacts to that 100%.
And the body remembers. The
Yes.
body will remember.
Exactly.
You'll be surprised. Why do I have the tendency to do this? And then it was a stress scenario maybe years ago. It's still imprinted in your system. So talking about what you said about stress, on a scientific perspective, especially with cortisol, the stress hormone,
Yep.
one single negative thought activates fight or flight, that you release cortisol. I'm not sure if I remember this correctly, but within minutes, one stressful thought, maybe thinking you're not good enough, the cortisol in your body will peak. And then you know how long the washout period is. It's 48 hours. So imagine if you're thinking one negative thought after one negative thought after one negative thought. Imagine how dysregulated your nervous system is. And it affects everything. It affects how you digest food, as you said, because you can't relax. So you're not digesting food well. You're not using your nutrients well in your body.
Yeah.
And so that's the reason why stress can really lead to a lot of diseases.
Yes.
It's all interconnected.
It's all 100%. That's really great. Thank you for sharing that. I mean, that's also a big reframe too. I mean, going back to you bringing up these stressful experiences, or the way we like our behavior patterns that might be not healthy for ourselves, they were imprinted in us at one point. So it's like this imprint of behavior, right? And so the way, like, you know, again, it's just based off of like my health coaching clients and all of that. But like, say, for example, the way you're like 5 years old and it's the way you watch your parents look at food, or maybe shame you with food, or shame your body, right? You're 5. You do not know how to protect yourself. But like when you're young, like from 3 to 5 already, you're creating those imprints of like, oh, okay, I'm getting like in trouble. How do I protect myself? So to protect myself is, okay, that's bad. Even though it's not, it doesn't make logical sense. It's like safety. Like, how do I be safe in my tribe, you know? So you create those imprints, and then you develop these behaviors and mentality about something or yourself, the story of yourself, and then that builds upon it. But then that starts to become like, you turn 12 and someone's like, I'm just making this up, like, here's a whole box of cookies and they body shame you or something, right? Like, then you develop another like imprint or another behavior based off of your peers on how you perceive yourself, or so then maybe you shame people, like you start to do the same thing back. So it's this interconnected web of behavior and perception that isn't real, you know? And that could be connected to how you're saying some clients are in their workspace. Like, I need the document to prove my worth, versus like realizing actually you have the worth, maybe the work ethic, you know, like I can be someone different. That idea might not resonate yet because they're used to this behavior that they practiced of minimizing, you know? And that's similar to like my clients just with the food, it's and themselves or how they view their body. That's the worst one. Like them viewing their strength and their power and the beauty of their unique body, but it doesn't look the way maybe society perceives it, or maybe again what like a family member said it to be. They will forever have those goggles on and never believe that they are healthy and look beautiful. Like we get to that in my sessions. You're like, why the look at yourself from another perspective? Would you look at you like that if you were your friend? So I love that you brought that up. Like, how would you treat another person? What would you say to them?
I also tell that a lot to my clients, especially those who have internalized anger, internalized depression, internalized anxiety. And I tell them, if you have a friend that is experiencing the same thing that you're going through right now, and he's saying the same things that you're telling yourself, what would you tell to that friend? Then they realize, if I can say this to a friend, I can also say this to myself. And even though your scenario earlier was just made up, it's true that psychologically, most of our beliefs are formed before we're 7 years old, before we're protected. We did not have the proper mental capacity to protect ourselves from the belief. So you're fed with all of these beliefs you have no control of. So that's why it's also difficult to change it, because say, for example, you get a client who's 30 years old. This client has been believing these thoughts as real for 20 years. And how can you slowly change that and change the beliefs? The good thing about the brain is, there's neuroplasticity. You can always teach it new things, but you have to break down the wrong things that were learned before. Because with coaching, the insight is with the clients, right? We already know what they have to do, but we can't directly tell them. We have to give them the space to reach to that insight. So the thing is, if you are emotionally unregulated, nervous system is unregulated, we can't arrive to the proper insight.
I love that. Yeah, I know. And maybe I love that you said that, because that is going back to the CEOs. Right? CEOs who are, I mean, they regulated themselves to operate off of cortisol, and adding to cortisol, right? If you were to think about caveman people, and cortisol activates when they think they're going to die, like a bear's chasing them, and blood rushes to all of their limbs. They get so sharp in their brain because it's those chemicals that get released. So you're so quick, your heart rate goes up, and you're able to run an extra 10 miles an hour just to flee. That is cortisol. That's connected to that. That could get triggered just based off of an email that stressed you out. But it's invisible. There's not a way to physically create. It's not like you could input it in your Fitness Pal, or an app. It's not that. How do we go in and really allow ourselves to recognize that is truth? Because with some CEOs that are operating at that level almost 24/7 and built up cortisol, it's as though if they let themselves go, they feel not in control.
And they get sick.
The
moment the cortisol lowers, these high functioning people who have been operating on cortisol for so long, the moment they start relaxing, they get sick. The thing is, our body is still similar to that of the caveman. It still hasn't evolved as much. And you're right, the stressors before were physical. It was in front of you. If you don't run away from it, you die. But also, the moment you run away from it, it's gone.
Right.
But now in the modern world, the stressors are psychological. How can you run away from your brain? How can you run away from your thoughts?
Exactly.
And so that's why, coaching helps everyone, because you build the systems around, when I get stressed, I can do all of these things so that I don't suffer. Because you can never run away from your brain. You can never run away from your thoughts.
Right. You can't. And that requires us to do that deep work, the work that you're guiding your clients to do, and to actually train yourself to recognize when you're in that and out of that, fill the gaps of that healing. I love that. That was I feel like that's such a great example, right? Like the physicalness of being able to run away. And then you physically could sense that you're safe, but not here, not in this day and age.
No, you can't run away. Like, you have to like really create systems to prevent yourself from spiraling. Because that's one thing.
Yeah. And the systems, it also gets you to trust it. Because I would say that has been one of the roadblocks to actually a lot of people I work with, is to trust it, to trust themselves, to trust that being softer, to be calm, to relax the body, to give grace. It's so difficult for people. It's like they can't trust that. And I feel like recently, especially post-pandemic, I mean, I feel like during pandemic, it forced people to have to, not everyone, but some people, to learn what that feels like when their system can be regulated, at least here in the States or in like some of the cities, because they have to unplug from the hamster wheel. But now it's starting to like pick up again, and it's difficult, So I feel like that's been a part of the work that we all have to do.
Yeah. Let's just go back a little, because I know you started in Pilates, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
What drew you towards Pilates, and then what made you stay in Pilates?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So it's been almost a decade. That's weird. I mean, it's not a complete 10 years of me doing Pilates. It's like getting to 9 years. But what drew me to Pilates was, before I was a Pilates instructor, I was a fashion designer, and I was a designer here in New York. And this was also pre-social media. And so the industry in the world of fashion was just extremely cutthroat, really fast. Again, opposite of everything you and I are talking about completely. Like, if anyone's thinking about internal work, they're like, what? Don't even be here. But I also had a fashion line at one point. And so this combination of being in the industry, thinking that I could build a company that operates like at the level of, say, these big name companies that have like, I mean, it was just impossible to compete when you don't have enough funding and a team. And it just completely messed up my nervous system, even just my mentality, my emotional health. So I ended up being in New York. I ended up trying yoga, which was actually great, and a few Pilates classes. At the same time, my dad was telling me about meditation, and I don't know about you, but within the world, like, I'm Filipino American here. I'm very Catholic Filipino family. With my mom, that idea of meditation is like, she's like, that's not praying. It's just not, it was taboo. But I'm like, but my dad told me to. He ran a business here, so he was a dentist, and when he was running the business, that was his way to unplug, right? It's just to quiet the mind, get in your body, calm your nervous system down, and like even try your best to remove chaotic thought out of your brain. And he's like, it feels like you took a nap. And I'm like, what is that? So that was my switch into shifting into, okay, what is this like internal world that I feel like I needed? And that was a big pivot in my life. My dad was also sick. He ended up passing of cancer. I moved back to California. That's where I'm originally from, Northern California. So I was operating my fashion business out there. But this but like a loved one that you absolutely love passing away, and the way you're also living your life where I didn't realize this until I did therapy, but I was having like low grade depression, and that's not my natural nature. Like, I'm naturally like positive, in like positive, or just like, oh, let's just enjoy. But I had a different personality then, and I was operating off of cortisol and thinking I needed to be hard and like tough and all that. So that was like a big shift. It was when he passed away, and it was hard for me to realize that I shouldn't be in fashion. So there was a moment, it was like the biggest down of my life, like rock bottom. I was just like, I can't do this to myself anymore. And so I didn't tell anybody except for my family that I wasn't gonna do fashion anymore. And then I moved to Oakland, California. I didn't know what I was gonna do. Said, we're looking for a front desk person to work at a Pilates studio. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm just going to do it. Like, I didn't care. It felt like correct. And it was bringing myself back into my body. Because every time I did it, when I went back to California before Oakland, I didn't do yoga, I didn't do Pilates, I didn't get in my body correctly. Maybe the only thing I would do is like run very cortisol types of exercises, but not the slow down and be aware of yourself and your body. But once I started doing that, working in the Pilates studio and meeting incredible, like the most wisest human beings ever, that they weren't just Pilates instructors, but they're healers, they're body healers. And I lucked out having my own journey with them and healing my own emotions and grief, and that completely put me into that holistic world. Yeah, like a lot, so much. And ever since, it felt like this is it. This is like where I need to be. And I don't just do Pilates now. I do myofascial release, which is also connected to a lot of somatics. So the emotion stored in our body. And I also do Reiki, so a little bit of energy healing. I was scared of that at first because taboo, but I worked with this beautiful, beautiful human, and I just had an amazing experience where I was able to release emotions in my body that I didn't know existed. I was like, I'm fine, but I'm like, oh my goodness, like insane. So that's where I am. That's how it started, and I still do it till this day. Yeah.
It's a nice story because, sometimes we go for things we think that's our direction, and then this redirection. And then we realize the redirection will lead us more to actually our truth and our purpose. Then you will feel aligned. And then once you feel aligned, everything just really will just come naturally. And yes, I'm a firm believer that we are all energy, and that your energy attracts, what you are as a person, your energy also attracts the people around you. So, when you're complaining of like, oh, why am I surrounded by these people? You also look into your energy. What are you putting out in the world?
Right.
And I also believe in that, with energy being stored in the body. Because when we also ask patients about emotions, where do you feel the emotion? Is it in your head, in your heart? So it's not controversial or taboo, but these things, they exist because they really work on a foundational level. There's really something about energy. It's not fully explored.
Yeah.
As a
100%.
doctor, I've also had experiences where, to go back to mindset and energy, you can have a patient who just has a cough and cold, but if they're not okay mentally, they're not going to get better. A patient who has cancer, but very good mentally, and then they recover well. It's not really about, I always tell patients, it's not about what your disease is. It's always about your mindset.
Yes.
Because the energy that you really put out there, the energy that you put in your body, it will really help a lot. So if you spiral and think of more negative things, then more cortisol is going to come in. You're going to get sicker.
That's so great. I love everything you just said. Yes. Everything you just said. Yeah. It's crazy. It's that inner world. It's also like your inner suffering. How do we break that apart, shift out of it? Because it's the inner suffering. What are patterns that are being repeated? And how do we start small with like one breaking of like one behavior pattern that you might do? And it could start like that to break apart that neural pattern that's happening. So I'm so with you. I recently have been working a lot in my one-on-ones, a lot of, I would say, like elder just people, and like maybe from 60s up. And they have like the bodies and energy of like a 30-year-old. And I'm like, What is going on? They've gone through cancer, they've gone through other diagnoses, other injuries, but there's something about their personality or their mindset. It's like this confidence of like, I'm going to change it, and I can. I've done it multiple times. I think that that's it. They've had their own rock bottoms, but they had enough seasoning in their life to have them like prove their confidence of changing something. Like they had reps in there enough that they could be stronger. They could have a healthier body than they ever did, even like healthier than when they were like 30, some of them say. And yeah, like some of them, they're just walking around New York City like 5 miles a day. And they're like, yeah. And they didn't live that life at one point. So it's beautiful to know and see that we could absolutely change our lives, our own lives, when we decide to. But I feel like we need to claim it for ourselves. It's what you said. It's like we could guide people, we could tell people what to do, but if they aren't embodying it or getting to that space for them to claim it, then it doesn't matter. You have to claim it. You have to get yourself there, you know? It's your timing in a way. So yeah.
And I think it's like now I can really say, yeah, I'm going into this healing space. It also helps to be at one point be in rock bottom because it gives you the empathy
Yes.
towards other people. Because if you haven't experienced it for yourself, you will not have the sense of how it's like to be struggling. Because I go back to what I say, no one wants to struggle. No one wants to be in this dark space, in this dark emotional space. But when you're there and you're so dysregulated, you actually also don't know what to do.
Right.
You want to be good, you want to be better, you want to be happy, but you're so dysregulated. There's nothing that you can do except maybe ask for help. And then as you heal, now you have the capacity to have the empathy to look at other people who are also struggling and say, oh,
Yes.
I've been there. That's not a good space to be, but I now know that I can help these people because I've been there.
Yeah, yes. I love that you brought that up. Yeah. Because when you're in your rock bottom, I mean, yeah, I would like to not be, but it's like also bringing back the grace you just said. It's the best time to learn or reconnect to what grace is, because yes, it might feel like you have to be patient. It's not going to be an instant switch. You have to work through it step by step, but you could get there. And every step, it's like it's magical, if you allow yourself to receive it in that way and allow yourself to heal in that way. But yeah, I love everything you just said. That's awesome.
Like similar to what you said, you had high functioning depression. I also had high functioning depression. And to everyone else, they'd say, oh, she's okay. Nothing is wrong with her. But my internal world was crumbling. And I am trying so hard to reach out to feel that joy again. You're trying so hard, but your brain just can't. Even if you're medicated, like, your brain just really can't find joy. And then I think last year when I really started to fully heal from a lot of things, I started to feel joy again. And then I was like, oh my gosh, the feeling is back. This warmth of being able to be joyful again. And yeah, that's the difficult thing with high functioning women, because we can still do the things that we had to do. We're not clinically what people see as depressed people. We can still go to work. We can still help other people. We're still productive members of society, but the suffering is really internal.
So internal. And it's very lonely, right? And yeah, wow, everything you just said, I'm with you. Yeah, it's a lonely space to be in, and it's like the lens of your world, yourself. It's like, how can you even change anything? But slowly but surely, joy is there. And it's those tiny shifts. Like you could access a different version of yourself. Do you feel like you now stepping into this new found self of joy, if we want to call it that? Like, do you feel it's like, what's the difference with your era now versus before?
I think there's this, when you go through rock bottom and then you realize this is my truth, this is my purpose, and then you're slowly aligning to it. And then you're also slowly healing and then regulating your nervous system. Then now joy is more of like peace, of finding like, I don't have to be in that very fast-paced life to be happy. If my brain is at peace, if my heart, if my gut is all aligned, then everything will just come in easy day to day. I mean, it's not that life will become just magically
Right,
easy.
right.
There's still problems, but
Yeah.
you now come in with a sense of, oh, I'm now fully in control of my emotions. And then recovering from that, I was always scared of going back to depression.
Me
Like I
too.
was so there's also this, and you will then safeguard everything.
Yeah,
You'll be in that like cocoon of like, no, I'm not gonna do anything that will destroy my peace.
totally. Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, this is not how healing is. Healing is slowly peeling off layers of that cocoon and then being vulnerable in the world, still
Yes.
being exposed to the same triggers, but now reacting more mindfully and calmly because I now have the tools to be okay. And I've also realized that one major thing that shifted was a sense of community, of being connected to people. Now I can say I have a close circle that I know is going to be there for me no matter what. Yeah, and then that was also very helpful in my healing. And so I also then that's when I realized, I can go into coaching because I healed because I had people that guided me. I'm now where I am right now because I had people who supported me.
Yeah.
And so if I can provide that to other people, that will be also great.
I love that. That is so powerful. I mean, the power of people, the power of the right community, and also for me, even if it means, I don't know if this happened to you, but as I was healing, because I went through, I would say, like 7 years of moving through healing, like on so many levels, my inner world started to become more richer, where you become so aware of the spectrum of emotions, from the depths of pain, grief, all the way to the highs of joy and thrill. But the world became more richer, but there's this middle way that you could this middle foundation that you could coast on to allow yourself to move through the ups and downs. It's not protecting yourself from either spectrum. It's embodying all of it to integrate everything. What you're saying with tools. But I don't know about you. Did you have maybe some friends or family that maybe are not operating from that level of depth? And I don't say that in a judgmental way. I'm just asking because I noticed it was difficult for me to connect with old friends or family that didn't understand or didn't operate in a level of depth, because I needed that for my own healing. And not that I was excommunicating people, but I ended up magnetizing different friends that have also gone through certain things that could understand at this level as well. But I don't know about you. Did you have something similar with that?
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. The energy that you put out there. So the deeper your life experience is, the more for me it becomes this spiritual experience of connecting with other people, with other souls out there. You also get to meet more interesting personalities in your life. I get that. And it's not really that it's more of you may have outgrown them.
Yeah.
Because you are at different spaces in life right now. And as healers, you've experienced that. We mature faster because we deal with heavier emotions. So especially with me in my medical practice, I deal with life and death, with sickness. And so I've matured faster in terms of that. There are certain friends that they're still operating at issues in life that are meant for teenagers. So they're still into those issues in their lives, and that's what they're going through, and that's what their level of spiritual growth is.
Yeah.
So they're still my friends. But then you realize that at the end of the day, you've grown so much. Your spiritual level, your maturity has been deeper. And they're still friends, but then you also get to realize now I'm connecting to other people with deeper experiences. And then the good thing about this experience as well is I'm now more open to people, like opening up to other people's experiences,
Yeah.
like really out of curiosity as to like, oh, how did they go through with that? Because
Right.
yours was longer, yours was 80 years, mine was around 5 years. And then once I was in that darkness, the thing that was always going through in my head, because I went into this place of, I don't know if the right word is despair, or more of like I've just fully given up. I think a year prior to my full healing, I was like, maybe this is my life. Maybe I'm not supposed to feel joy. Like maybe this is the space where I'm just really gonna, like maybe this
Yep.
is it. And
Totally
I
happened.
fully accepted it. I was like, maybe this is it. There's really
Yeah.
nothing. And then life will just really just show you experiences of like, nope, this is not it. You're still gonna heal.
Yeah.
Um, and then I can heal from that. I was able to get out when I thought I can't get out. And then, yeah, the joy started coming in. The experiences, the people I connect with now are on a deeper level. Yeah, it's nice because now I have soulful connections, like soulful conversations with you, which I can't even do that before
Yeah. Same.
because
Or even you haven't fully explored your own spirit yet, right?
yeah.
And you're like, wow, we could actually take it to that level. But it's richer. It's richer.
And it's also scary because you also have to face parts of you that you don't like. And it's
Yes.
so difficult, like facing aspects of myself. Like right now, the journey that I am in, the fear that I'm feeling to, because it's always there. Like, that's life. I'm also so lucky because I've also built friends around me that I can just go on that deep level immediately and just talk to them about it. If I feel these deep emotions, immediately just going to the people I'm close with and saying, "Hey, I'm feeling this thing." The better you are with dealing with all of these things, the deeper that you're anchored to your spirituality. So we always start with what is true for us,
Right.
what is true for me, and you also examine, are the truths that I accept really are real, or are they just made up by my brain to protect me?
Yeah.
And then from that you have the vision, you align that vision to a purpose, and then what ties it all together is spirituality. And I'm a heavily spiritual person. You've mentioned earlier, as Filipinos,
I'm very spiritual too.
yeah,
Yeah.
Filipinos are innately religious. But it's so different because I haven't really fully connected with religion. But spirituality is something that has been innate in me for so long.
Oh, me too. I love this.
And one thing I've also learned about my spirituality is that I'm not very expressive of it. It's mine and the higher being's connection. I don't have to show it out to everyone. So
Right.
people assume I'm not that spiritual, but I am. I
Yeah.
just don't, because for me it's my personal relationship with a higher power. I don't have to fully say and tell it to everyone.
And it doesn't need to be, I feel like spirituality, it's personal and it should not be performative. If it's in that, it's not aligned to the truth. There's filters on there that isn't authentic.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. I'm exactly on the same page with
You
that.
want to do something fun because we're already on that page. I have angel cards. Let me draw something. I think now that we're syncing,
Yeah, I
maybe.
think I think we found it. Now our energies are syncing. I love it.
So I got this angel cards in a secondhand bookstore. And I was grounding the whole day. So
Good.
maybe just tell me when to stop.
Okay.
Let's
Yeah,
shuffle
let
this.
me. You're shuffling. Okay.
Wait, let me shuffle it.
It
Just tell
knows.
me when to stop.
Okay. I'll ground really quick, just like a moment.
I think it showed me the card. But
And okay,
there's one
ready.
card that it
Did it fall?
yeah, it fell. And it's
Perfect.
amazing. You'll be
Yeah.
surprised. It fell.
Like when you said that, I was like, that's when I felt I locked in.
Oh my gosh.
Victory! Oh my gosh, Archangel Sandalphon, your prayers have been heard and answered. Have faith. Wow. I love this. Oh,
Yeah. It just fell.
it felt like during the same timing I feel like I dropped in.
Yeah. Yeah. So
And
it
that
says
go ahead.
here.
Okay. Archangel Sandalphon, your prayers have been heard and answered. Have faith. Additional message. You deserve this time of victory. Your unwavering focus and dedication have resulted in blissful manifestation. Peace and pleasant feelings are yours right now. Let your focus be on this present moment and savor each feeling and experience fully. Know that the future is taken care of in a positive way as you allow yourself to enjoy the present moment. Feel good about who you are and know that the success benefits others. Okay,
Why is it
that
so aligned to what we talked, right? This is so amazing,
right?
I tell you. Energy.
It's energy because we
Right?
both allowed. Okay, talk about like just letting go. Whew,
This is so thick. It can be any card.
that was too aligned. I feel like it also honored our journey, you know? Like because you were able to be here, you were able to get through your healing journey that allowed you to start this podcast. Like that is also testament of where you are now. Like that's confidence, that's healing, and it's healed. And it's embodied, and you're going to continue to do that. And I think that's beautiful. But also peace, bliss, like that's everything we're talking about. But present, being present.
Yes.
Great card. Wow. That's amazing.
Amazing, right? Yes,
So
always. When there's room for it, I do it. One thing I think I'm still curious. Curious about is intuitive eating. You always talk about it on your Instagram. Can you walk us through your relationship with that, or how is that process?
Yeah. Sorry, you said of intuitive eating, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So, I mean, there's so many, to me, that's also a spiritual connection. That's me personally. But the way I guide most people is first, I mean, we do a shift of nutrient dense food. So, nutrient dense food is just anything not processed. It's just anything that Mother Earth made. But what's beautiful is with nutrient dense food, it was grown from earth, and that is connected deeper into our body. Like we become that. Like those cells that was nourished and grown from sunlight and soil into this beautiful like vegetable or even protein with all of the sustenance we need for our bodies. We should eat that, and naturally our body is going to detox or shed the things that aren't supposed to be in our body. We become what we eat, in short. So that's where I like the basis of everything. Now, when we just start to shift, say if it's like 7 days only, and it's not about like count calories. It's just, can I eat more protein and vegetables that my body is going to absolutely react in a positive way to? It's not to even lose weight. It's just shift the body, shift the cells. And so within 7 days, yeah, your body's gonna like release toxins that keep us in these ideas of like addiction to sugar or this or that. But just within like 8 days, you're gonna start to feel like your stomach, ghrelin, which is the hunger hormone, that's connected from your gut, that connects from your gut to the brain. It tells the brain that you're full. It's going to be louder, and it's going to shift. You don't have to make decisions is what I'm saying. Like your body's going to be like, I don't want anymore. It's like, I am so satisfied and full. Whoa, I have a lot of energy after eating this type of food. But if I want more, I can, or I could eat it later. Like it's not this restriction sort of thing that happens. It's just allowing real nutrient dense food to just connect to you and your what your body wisdom is telling you, your signal, your body's cues, your hunger cues, all of it is going to just turn on. It's like actually simple. The only thing getting in the way is just the idea of doing it. So when I say intuitive eating, it's just to allow the body to shift into operating the way it's meant to operate. And it'll do its thing for you. It'll tell you you're full. It'll tell you you're satisfied. It'll tell you you have like great satiety levels. It'll balance your hormones for you just by allowing yourself to be in this openness of nutrient-dense food. So that's like the quickest summary of intuitive eating. But the way I guide people is experiments. So every week it's an experiment. So the first week will be like, okay, let's just slowly remove remove inflammatory foods. But let's just do one at a time. Like, don't overdo it. Just, that's it. But you're not technically like restricting yourself. You're just swapping. But then once we slowly swap, you're going to want more of nutrient-dense foods because it gives you better energy. Like, you feel so good. So it's also a practice of teaching people to listen to their body. Listen. It's also to calm, to breathe into their stomach, to relax their stomach muscles. So even if they go to like a restaurant and they look at the menu, I have people first just like cleanse your palate, little water, and I have them take 3 deep breaths all the way into their gut. Don't hold anything. And then look at the menu and see what is actually resonating. Like, your gut is going to tell you what it needs. And so I get people to shift into doing things like that. And I would say like 95% of the time, that's where a lot of transformation has happened, just by listening to your body and not like overthinking or not thinking or feeling pressure to eat this or that. It's like, what does my gut tell me to eat? Yeah, that's what a lot of the programming is. And people tend to like lose weight. They are really good with like maintenance. They have better periods, their like mood is more balanced, their hormones are balanced, but it's just getting yourself to tune into your body. So that's what it is.
I think I'm doing some sort of that. I think, a sugar addiction. I really take a lot of sweets. But then lately I find myself not really repulsed by it, but I still eat it, but I don't eat as much as I eat before.
Love that. Good job.
Yeah, and
Yes.
it's slow. Like, I'm not stressing myself out.
Yes. Go ahead. Keep going.
Because I understand it's being fully present.
Fully
Because
present.
sometimes when you're stressed and you're eating, you don't even taste the food. You don't even like,
Yes.
you're not in there, present at the moment eating. And then when you taste everything, you feel fuller. Yeah. So yeah, I think I'm doing that in a certain sense.
Gosh, you totally are. And
Yeah.
so there's like 3 things that you're just saying that, one, I'm very proud of you. I mean, being able to tune in, like be present, like relax, don't get in our mind or stress choose what to eat. But when you relax your gut muscles, like your stomach muscles, ghrelin starts to turn on, and you get more sharp with your intuition, and your body's going to tell you. And to a point where you're like, sugar, I actually feel repulsed. It doesn't feel good if I were to have like 3 slices. Like, I actually feel gross about it, like even if you're just wincing, right? It's like what happens is you are allowing your body to just be its wisest self. Like, it's also not about restricting, it's just listening. So I would say 2 weeks into any programs that I do, your palate changes, your tongue, like the taste buds change. People who would eat normal food like that they did before a program, they're like, ew, that tastes more salty. That sugar tastes bitter. Like, because you allowed your cells in your body to just be the healthiest cells possible. So what's happening with you when you feel those like gut reactions, that's you did something within your chemistry where you're like, I could enjoy it still. But if I have too much, that's not, my body's telling me that it's not right to have a lot of it. And it could be ew, that's bitter, or being repulsed. Those are just examples. So those are body cues. Intuitive eating is getting attuned to your body cues. So then the other one that you were saying was slowing down or being present. So, and anyone listening, you should all try this. So, well, first, like, how long do you think it takes for an average person, like say during lunchtime in the middle of a workday, how long do you think it would take for someone to finish a meal, a lunch meal?
Are we saying what's ideal or now in modern day?
Or like maybe if there's a stat right now.
No, usually people finish 5 minutes or less, right? And that's
Yes,
very bad. And that's very
it's so
bad.
bad.
It's very
'Cause
bad. I tell my patients it's so bad.
yes, yes, and it's like 3 to 5 minutes, and that's so bad because you're not chewing, and that's also stress eating, right? Or just like quick, you're not in your parasympathetic nervous system, so you're not gonna actually digest it because you're not relaxed. So, I I have a game with people. I call it the 20-minute meal, and they have a little chart. So it's like a game for 7 days where you just try to beat, like you write down how long you ate a meal, and then next to it's a column of how do you feel and when did you start to feel satisfied. And so every day you try to beat it 5 minutes. The goal is to get to a 20-minute meal minimum, and you just start to see all the different experiences you have, and then you start to be present and to actually savor your food, like have this beautiful relationship with your food. That's also spiritual, right? Like fully chewing and letting like the food and the taste of whatever your meal is just really take its time in your mouth, and allowing the salivary glands and just saliva to do its thing so it could take nutrients and break it down better for you. It's like allowing your body, being loving to your body by allowing it to do what it's supposed to do. Yeah, I mean, you're doing a good job. Yes. Yes.
Because I always also tell this to my patients. You have to chew your food. Digestion starts in the mouth.
Look
So
at you.
when you chew it, your salivary enzymes start to break down food. And so if you're not spending enough time to chew your food, it's going to be difficult for your stomach to properly digest the food. And if I remember it correctly, I think the mastication or the chewing process, if I remember my physiology correctly, it's like 30 seconds for you to
Yes.
properly form the food bolus,
Yes.
where your salivary enzymes are fully mixed with it, and so it's good for your stomach to digest.
Right.
And another thing that I also tell my patients is with the body, it's use it or lose it, right? So for people who eat fast, their mouths also lessen the production of these salivary enzymes because they don't use it as much. And so now you see a lot of people with gastritis, with stomach problems, just because they're not chewing their food enough.
Oh, that's amazing. Everything.
Yeah. There's a scientific basis to what you're doing.
Right, there is. I mean, it's true because, right, like even when your salivary glands and the enzymes just start to turn on, it's doing a signal, like even to your esophagus or even to your liver or like your organs to release like the acid that's going to support with breaking it down. It's like such a beautiful design. Like our body, it's so like it's spiritually amazing. It's and scientifically amazing. Like it's incredible. Like it's doing everything it needs to do for us. We just have to allow it. And going back to what we're saying, it's all about being present and slowing down, not having to be so rushed. And that's like connecting to the nervous system. It's like cortisol.
It's connected to everything, even with burnout. And I get a lot of clients who have burnout. One factor to burnout is not being able to sit down and eat your lunch or have a break peacefully. So I have a client who's been having burnout, and our solution was take an hour where you just sit down and you just focus on eating. Turn off everything around you because it gives them back that control. So imagine even that has a contribution to burnout. Not having the time to sit down and eat at work can burn you out.
I didn't know that being like a symptom or an example that the body is dysregulated, but it makes so much sense.
Right?
Like slowing down. I mean, even just So a lot of the times, even just telling clients to just sit in the sun if it is sunny and just like closing your eyes and breathing and like feeling the sunlight on your body, they're like, whoa. Like sometimes people will be like, I have to go to the bathroom because like they relaxed their body because they were so wound up and tight. And that's something that I see a lot with a lot of my Pilates, my fascial clients. They chronically are tight, and they think being tight is like a strong body, but actually there's a little dysfunction in there. That could be like a whole other conversation, but the connection of our theme, I would say, is like that, how to be present, allowing ourselves to have grace, to slow down, and also knowing that it's powerful to like that you could slow down, like you could shift in and out of it. Like you're not allowing yourself to be stuck in fight, flight, or freeze. You have that willpower to allow yourself to fluctuate in the calm, in the grace, and it does wonders for health. Wonders.
Being grounded and really not operating in that flight or fight. But I can just really say, I think we're lucky that we're now in that space because we've experienced it ourselves. And so now we can help people with burnout, recovery, and wholeness. I have so many questions, but I think we've gone through everything.
I know we definitely went in different like paths of topics, but they all come back to the same thing. It's so much theme.
So yeah,
I feel, and this is what I also connecting to the spiritual trust of how energy, universe, God works, right? It's like, it's really great to honor your alignment and timing because, I mean, look, I feel like this has been such a potent conversation for both of us, like where we're on the same path, you know? And I feel like the right people on like your timeline, they're gonna listen, they're gonna find this at the right time, you know? And I feel like that's been my recent practice, is trusting my timing. And when that happens, it's like, whoa, I didn't even plan that. Like, how did this happen? You know, it's like, or like you reaching out, I'm like, wow, I didn't even have to do planning about that. But why is it all so aligned? Allowing those sorts of miracles to come in because we're honoring ourselves, you know, and our timeline and our pacing and being true, not being in a rush and doing anything superficial. Everything's aligned. So I feel like that's what you're doing, and I'm proud of you for doing that. Good job.
You as well. Like I saw your page and I was like, oh my gosh, I really resonate with her right now because this is where I want to go. This is what I want to tell people, like to slow down, to calm down, to regulate themselves. And imagine, if you have a community of like a lot of regulated people. And it's not that when you're regulated, you're chill and you're not achieving anything. You actually achieve more when you're regulated and calm because you have a clearer vision. You don't have a myopic view. When you operate in fight or flight, you have a myopic view of things. You can't see anything outside of it. But then when you're grounded and you're relaxed, your vision actually it really just, you can see the whole horizon.
That's
when
beautiful.
You're so relaxed. Yeah.
Ceramic. Yeah. It's like rich again. That's what I feel like it is. And I also want to say too, with like being embodied and healing, I also trust the people that are still like because part of doing that, it's work forever, you know? And I don't always trust a guru, like as if they made it, you know? I'm like, but are you still doing the work? You know, it's like, I trust people continuing to do the work, and that's how we create more healing, because also us doing the work, it's us adjusting to how, like, what's happening in our generation, what's happening in the world. It allows us to be adaptable, and we have to be flowing within it, you know? And so that's what I look at, you know? It's like, and who I trust too. It's like, what's the work we're doing together? But it's always going to be from a embodied, grounded space, and it's going to continue to be that.
So if they want a holistic health coach, where do they find you?
Yes. So my website, it's called healthcoachinez.com. And my name's Ineasy. So healthcoachinez.com. And then you'll have my social media on there. On Instagram, I'm mindfuelnez. Mindfuelnez. It's old. I've had that forever. But on TikTok, I'm Health Coach Inez. So that's also easier. But you could find me on there. And yeah, like we're having a program in September if you're curious to see what that is and how that feels like. I mean, you're going to be guided in like a very holistic way, but also in a very like loving discipline sort of way. You know, it's like, what is self-respect for yourself? And it's still important to have like a healthy discipline for yourself. I feel like you should be in some of my programs. You and I should talk about this later. Like, we'll figure this out because everything you're saying, I'm like, oh my goodness, it looks so aligned.
We'll do a collab together. And then I'll put all of your links when I publish the podcast on the description, so people will know how to reach out to you.
Thank you for sharing space with us today. Inez reminded me, and maybe reminded you too, that rest is not a reward, and softness isn't the opposite of strength. If this episode sparked something in you, I hope you take a moment today to honor it. Maybe that looks like a slower lunch, one deep breath in the sun, or finally saying no without guilt. You can find Inez on Instagram at mindfuelnez or visit healthcoachinez.com to learn more about her work. And if you know someone who's been holding too much, send this their way. Until next time, stay gentle, stay grounded. This could be something for you.